It's Talk Point again on Lagos Television, and we're happy that you can also link up with us. My name is Omololu Rosonwo. Today on Talk Point, we recall that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, some days back, changed the service chiefs in Nigeria to beef up security nationwide. And of course, he has done that because he has the powers, according to the Nigerian constitution, to also do that. And he also, during the week, like some days back, rather, met the security chiefs, briefing them, and they also gave him a brief of what they also need to do to further ensure that Nigeria gets better. Today, I'll be having a guest in the studio. He's right here in the studio. He's a security expert. He's also somebody that is very familiar with Lagos Television and also somebody in the media space. His name is Chief Darlington Umoru. Chief, nice to have you on Talk Point.
My pleasure being here once again, as usual.
Yes, because the things you speak to are not the things that ordinary person will just talk about if they don't have enough proof, and that's why you always come on board, just as you also go to a couple of other stations. So it's nice having you on Talk Point again.
My pleasure.
Yes, let's quickly go. What's the sudden change? Why is it coming at this time around?
It's a normal thing. The service chiefs that we're discussing now, that many use lots of adjective to qualify what Mr. President has done. Some would say he has fired them. Some would say he has replaced them. But irrespective of how you describe it or you qualify it, it's what has happened is within the prerogative of Mr. President, particularly when you remember that these same persons were hired by this same president about 2 years ago.
2 years back, yeah.
He inherited service chiefs from his predecessor and then replaced those ones with this same set that he has replaced some of them now, not all of them, because one of them has graduated higher to become the chief of defense staff.
Defense staff, yes.
So it's not out of place. He has, like you said, he has the powers to hire and fire them. It is normal. I said it's normal because Mr. President would want to apparently weigh the achievements of these persons, and then will also vis-a-vis juxtapose that on their loyalty to him. And then what is the scorecard, the score sheet? What is it producing? How much have they achieved in terms of quelling insecurity in the country? And so apparently Mr. President is the best person to say reasons why these persons were in whichever words you want to use, whether fired, replaced, or one promoted and all of that. But the presidency had given us reasons to say why these persons were, in my own words, replaced. Well, to me, the interpretation of what Mr. President said is to rejig the security architecture of the country, vis-a-vis the onslaught by the terrorists, particularly in the northeast, northwest, where we have bandits. Don't forget that when we are discussing insecurity, the entire 6 geopolitical zones in the country experience different insecurity brouhaha. For instance, in the northeast, you have core terrorist groups operating in those axes. That's where you have the likes of Boko Haram, ISWAP, topmost. And then if you come to northwest, you have those you would loosely want to refer to as bandits. Those who purely are doing criminal business. The criminal business of kidnapping people, demanding, collecting ransom, and sometimes killing their victims. Then when you move down to North Central, you'll be talking about insecurity as it has to do with the header-farmer clashes, conflict. We call it conflict. Then if you come down to the south, southeast, southeast, you have ESN issue of IPOP. ESN is the militant section of IPOP, as instituted by ECPA and the man in
on trial
DSS,
now. The man on trial now.
Custody. And then when you come down to south, what you have is more of banditry. Banditry, those who do the criminal business of kidnapping and collecting ransom. Of course, you are aware that in my town, a young lady was released about 2 days ago after 5 million ransom was paid. Talking about Aisha in Auchi.
That's Edo State.
Edo State, yes. Another we learned has been also been kidnapped now from the same Edo State, Esako, precisely, and then they are begging for people to come to their aid, raise money to pay for the ransom. And then if you come down to southwest, a little bit of terrorism, and then a little bit of banditry. Terrorism, when you talk about Ondo State, we have had situations, if you recall, when a church on a Sunday
it was bombed. Yes.
It was bombed and many were killed, and then some other part of Ondo State in particular. But beyond Ondo State, when you come down to Oyo State, Osun State, a little bit of Lagos State, what you have is banditry, kidnap issues, and the demand for ransom. But Lagos State is a bit out of the hook, maybe because of her security architecture, that has been existing over time. So we hardly hear most of these issues that you find in Oyo, Osun, Ondo, particularly in those axes. It is louder, the activities of whether terrorists or the bandits. But what we have in Southwest is a combination, it's a combo of the terrorist activities. We have seen situations where even ISWAP had claimed that responsibility of certain bombings, particularly in Ondo State, if you recall. And so in all of this, the security agencies and the military, and then the Minister of Defense also, all of them come together to manage the security situation, the NIA, the DSS, the police, and all of that. All of them meet perhaps at the clearinghouse, distribute information to who is supposed to handle what, and all of that. And then report finally, including the NSA now, report finally to Mr. President. And then it is within the prerogative of Mr. President to either extend your tenure or remove you and replace any one of them, depending on achievements and position and decision of the president in terms of the reports that get to his table as it affects insecurity across the 6 geopolitical zones, as I have just
enumerated. Yes. Let me just ask you this. I don't want to put you on the edge, but I just need to also ask you this. Some are saying that the changes may not be unconnected with some issues in the military. Over time, there were some issues that were seen, or there was intel that was received, and that was why the October 1st thing was not held, and the president was not even there in Abuja. It was in Lagos. And can we put this together to say, oh, there were issues, but it's been tackled?
Well, this question you have just raised now has been more of rumor within the Nigerian security space. And for somebody like me, I don't like dwelling on what I perceive as rumors when you don't have, facts could be correct, could be wrong. But when you don't have the exact intel concerning all of this, I've gone to different television stations to discuss this particular issue, and this aspect you just raised now is often raised. But my challenge is I like disassociating myself from what many will regard to as rumor. The military has come out to deny that there was a coup attempt. But from the events unfolding, events are still unfolding. If you read the story in Punch today, as it has to do with this same matter, you begin to see some lights at the bottom of the tunnel. The military had denied that there was nothing like an attempted coup. Presidency has also denied that there was nothing as likened to attempted coup. And so I like to begin to a little bit put one foot, on this side and one foot on the other side while I watch things unfold.
Okay.
But whether the October 1st thing didn't hold at the Eagle Square in Abuja, I'm not sure it's the first time we have had such scenario.
No, it's not the
we
first
have
time.
had scenarios in the past where presidency will say they want to go on low key, and then they don't want to spend money, no activities and all of that, and then it now reduces. It now goes down to states, whether states will want to do theirs and all of that. But again, they say in every smoke, there's an iota of flame that is generating that smoke. And so we would not be able to completely run away from the unfolding now. Because if you read what Punch reported today, then you want to begin to align yourself to say, did the military tell us the truth? Did presidency tell us the truth? If they told us the truth, then why is the military carrying out some investigation? Why was the house of Timi Priye invaded? Why was his driver and brother arrested? Where is Timi Priye Silva at the moment? Has he turned up himself? And all of these are connected from the report. Quoting Punch now, looking at what Punch reported, you want to begin to say, okay, where is Timi Silva? Why are people being arrested? In connection of what? Well, the military have also told us that it was as a result of some measure of disgruntlement from some of its soldiers. If it has to do with disgruntlement with your men, how is it connected to civilian? And we know from the history of coup in Nigeria, for every coup that took place in Nigeria, some civilians were figured as those who sponsored. Now, the issue why they say Silva, they went for him to arrest him was the fact that a certain MD whose name is withheld, that there was a transaction of huge sum of money between Timi Silva and that MD, and then they want Timi Silva to come explain the movement of those funds and where and how did they get to whose hands, who was at the receiving end. So if you now come to juxtapose what this report had given to us, what is the intel you could deduce from all of this put together? Is it that the presidency is hiding something from Nigerians? Is it that the military are hiding something from Nigerians? Is it that the military does not want her investigation
thwarted or thwarted
in the course of all of this until they get at all of those they want to pick up? And then for questioning, are we expecting to have a court martial? Again, like I said somewhere, the issue of coup d'etat has started from on the Sahel corridor. And for it to succeed in those countries, particularly in West Africa, they had to pull out of the ECOWAS arrangement because ECOWAS does not support coup d'etat. And now because they pulled out, talking about Burkina Faso, Mali yeah. And what's the name of the other country now? They have come to form the Sahel states. Now, military coup d'etat has succeeded in those places. And if it has succeeded, is it the wind that is trying to blow into other countries that are neighbors of this country? But for Nigeria, I do not see how a coup can succeed
At
anymore.
all. Yeah, I was just coming to that because Nigeria is so heterogeneous. We're different. We're different nation, and we believe in unity.
The era of coup d'etat in Nigeria
over.
is past.
Yes,
it's all in history now. So anybody who would want to be thinking of anything in that magnitude will be undoing himself or herself, because I do not see, I repeat, I do not see how some persons will come together and achieve coup successfully in Nigeria at the extent we had gotten to. The civilians who are in power, the kind of democracy we have entrenched, has also been able to inculcate and incorporate the military, so much so that they are not left out of governance. They are so much more in government. And then the budget of Nigeria for defense, I think it's about the highest of all the budgets, even more than education that we have now.
Yes, because
so they have free hands to operate.
Yes.
And then we have enough troubles in our hand, talking about battling the terrorists and the bandits.
Yes, I know that the territorial integrity of Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. The oneness of Nigeria cannot. So those ones are nothing like coup this time around. There's a civilian government, there's a democracy in place, and obviously we're building on the democracy that we have now. I just thought I should also ask that question. Let's now move to this.
No, again, don't remove ambition.
Yes,
don't remove the place of, well, it's television. We mind our choice of words, but don't remove the
overzealousness of
overzealousness
yes, that's
that will lead to ambition of some persons who may not be completely nurtured, or who may be brainwashed by one, who may allow him or herself to be brainwashed by another ambitious person that could just mislead them. But if it's a coup, my brother, I can beat my chest to tell you that I do not see how a coup can work out and succeed in Nigeria anymore.
Yes, let's leave it like that and let it stay like that. So let's move to the chiefs now. What are your expectations from the new chiefs? Because from your analysis earlier, you mentioned the 6 geopolitical zones, how banditry, terrorism, kidnapping are affected. But now, what's your own take, and what do you have for your expectations for the new chiefs, starting with the Chief of Defense Staff?
Well, the Chief of Defense Staff is there. He's been there for the past 2 years. He's also been in the system for a long time. Like I said again, I think on Lagos television too, I did say that these persons you have brought in, Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, they are not new to the system. These were not persons who were dug out from elsewhere and brought to the country to come hold these offices. They have been a part of the system as generals. They may have been making their contributions. And then I also talked about looking at the CV of some of them or all of them. You discover that they have been very much active in things that have to do with insecurity, whether globally or in Africa, on the continent, or narrow it down to West Africa as well. They have been active, they have participated in UN peacekeeping events and all of that. But what do we expect of them? Like I said, they have been a part of the system and they know what it is and how it's been. And they know that they have just one Ross tax. And the tax is quell insecurity and let there be peace in Nigeria one more time. Return the country to that phase where we could sleep and close our 2 eyes, conquer these persons, and then let's have the one Nigeria that we used to have. Mr. President severally, like I said in one of my analysis, I said in the last administration of these chiefs, Mr. President severally came out and gave marching order. And those marching orders at a point in time to Nigerians became one too many. And they were no longer making meaning, and people were not, before, if a president gives marching order to his service chiefs, then it's a big problem. It's a big problem. But we saw Mr. President coming out more than once, giving those marching orders, and the likes of us came out to say, no, Mr. President, I think this I think I said this, and then thereafter we got this.
That
this
was some years back. You mentioned it. Yeah, you also some months back too.
Some years back. I think it's last month.
Yes, I recall.
Either last month or early this month.
You also mentioned this some years back. You remember when it was reoccurring with the former president?
Yes,
before some changes were, because I still recollect that.
Yes.
Now, what we're seeing now, we have just less than 3-4 minutes to end this day. Now, the place of Intel, do you think it can really work, or kinetic or non-kinetic?
No. You don't ask whether the Intel can work. Intel is the beginning of success of any war. So you need Intel. For instance, that's why I also quarreled with the NSA. ANSA. For instance, when we saw in a situation recently where Intel was given and the Intel was not followed, and then the thing still happened. You have those agencies whose responsibility is to gather intel concerning movement of firearms and ammunition, and then the movement of criminal elements and all of that, and then intending criminal activities. They are revealed, haven't been profiled, and then you pass it on. When it is passed on, it is worked on. Once you are able to, you saw what happened in Benue State, for instance. The intel of what was going to happen in Benue State was released, but did they act on it? They did not act on it. Intel is 50% success of conquering a criminal activity. So first, what you need to, that's why you have those who need to be proactive with intel, gather profiling, submit all of this to those who are meant to execute it. You remember when Mr. President, talking about this administration first came, he talked about the clearinghouse. What do you do at the clearinghouse? Is to share information. Intel. Okay, this is what in your program, this same program some years back, I did talk about the movement of a North African who was coming to hit Abuja, the seat of power. And
they got the information and didn't do anything.
That is the intel. The DSS got the intel, submitted, and then it was handed over to the next agency who was supposed to take charge of the movement of people across borders into Nigeria.
Yes,
and so at the end of the day, that is what Intel does. So it is now left for you, those other agencies, to now act accordingly with that intel, and then they will be able to be proactive, not reactive. They will stop that thing, make arrest of those who are coming to, carry out that criminal activity, or take them out.
Yes, I'm afraid time is no longer on our side. I want to thank you so much, Chief Darlington Umoru. Time is not on our side. I would have spoken more on some of these issues, but of course, there's always another time to also still bring you on board. Thank you so much, Chief Darlington Umoru, for coming on Talk Point.
My pleasure, any day, anytime.
Yes, on that note, we have come to the end of Talk Point. 767 and 112 are still the lines to always call in times of emergency. Stay out of trouble. Ensure that you contribute your own quota to the development of Nigeria and Lagos, and so that things can get better. I am Omololu Rosonwu. Saying bye-bye.